So before we move on to our actual circuit, I'm going to run through the exercises with you. I've got a couple of dumbbells here. You can use your resistance band if you want, like the grab one. Now the only one I have to hand is my one with the handles, but you can certainly use the ones that you have without the handles if you've got them. So we can use these, or you can use weights, or you can use just body weight and just do the activation exercises, just go through the movements. So we're going to do a circuit of 4. Rather than when we're in the circuit stopping to explain the teaching points, I'm just going to do it here, separate video, and then when you come on to do your circuit you'll be good to go and you'll know exactly what to do and there'll be minimal talking. So we're going to start off with a deadlift, a bent over row. Now, you can start off whatever weight you want, but make sure that you're able to do the row with it. Because the deadlift, the muscles are stronger in the deadlift, the leg muscles, the glutes and everything. So when you do a deadlift, you might find it really easy, but the weights you've got just might be too challenging for the row. So make sure that you can do your row as well as the deadlift. So deadlift, you've seen it before. If you've been out Nordic walking with me, we've done it with the resistance bands, we've done it with the poles. Now we're going to do it with some weights, or indeed bands if you've got them. So you're going to start feet hip width apart. Let me show you from the front first of all. Feet hip width apart, your hands are turned so that your palms are facing you. Your weights are against your thighs. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let the weights travel down the front of my thighs and just over my knee, and then I'm going to stop. Because I can feel my hamstrings really engage at that point, really stretching out. And from here, I'm just going to stand back up. Now let me show you from the side. My neck is going to be turned round looking at you, but you wouldn't do that, you'd be looking straight ahead. Or, not straight ahead, but you'd be keeping your spine in line. So you'll see it as I go. So you can see weights, feet are hip width apart, weights are just in front of my thighs, palms turned in towards me. I'm just going to keep a nice straight back as I hinge forward at the hips, and I let those weights travel down my thigh and just slightly below my knee. You might be able to go a wee bit further, it really depends on your range of motion on your hamstrings. So we're going to hold it here, and then all I'm going to do is keep a nice straight back, squeezing through my glutes as I'm going to stand back up. And I'm going to give my glutes a wee squeeze at the top. What I'm not going to do is hyperextend my back. We don't want to do that because we'll just risk injury to the back. So it's just like bringing your sit bones together to give a wee squeeze at the top. I'm still staying nice and straight, nice and neutral spine. So let me show you that again. Facing forward, I'm not going to look up, I'm not going to crane my neck, I'm going to keep my spine in line as best as I can. So weights tracking down the thighs, slightly over the knee, my back should be nice and straight, my neck, I'm maybe looking about 2 to 3 feet in front of me. I'm not looking up, I'm not tucking my chin in. I'm keeping my spine in line as best I can. And from here I'm going to squeeze my sit bones together, and I'm going to come back to standing, just giving a wee final squeeze at the top. Now we're going to combine the movement. We're going to do 2 compound movements. Compound movements are just names for more than one muscle group. So deadlift is one, and then the other one we're going to do is a row. So forget the deadlift just now. We're going to come into the bottom of that deadlift, and then what we're going to do, turn the palms facing each other, and we're just going to pull the elbows back behind the torso, driving them up towards the ceiling or the wall behind you, and drop them back down. Now I'm not hunching my shoulders up to my ears, I'm keeping them down and back, and as I drive the elbows behind my body, I'm giving my shoulders and my upper back a wee squeeze, and then I'm going to release. Standing up nice and tall. So to combine that, let's see what that looks like. First of all, deadlift. Thighs coming down the front, hands coming down the front of the thigh, slightly over the knee, keeping that nice straight spine. And from here, I'm going to turn my palms to face to each other, and then I'm going to drive the elbows behind, and that's me going into my row. I'm going to drop down, turn the palms towards my thighs, and then I'm going to complete my deadlift. And that is your deadlift into bent over row. Next one we're going to do is a shoulder press to a knee lift. So we're going to be working on the shoulder. I'll put one of these down just now. So we're going to be working on the top of the shoulder. Shoulder split into 3. You've got the front, middle and the rear. So we're really going to be working on mainly the middle of the shoulder for this one. We're going to combine it with a leg lift because we're going to work on balance, I'm going to work on core as well. So with 2 weights in your hand, you're going to bring your weights up, feet shoulder width apart, and all I'm going to do in a shoulder press, you would just be a double shoulder press, would be arms up, not allowing the elbows to cut or the shoulders come to your ears, keeping them down and back as always. What I'm not doing is letting the weights pull me back. I'm keeping my spine in line again the whole time. Slight bend through the knees, pushing up, keeping the shoulders down. Now we're going to change it. We're just going to do a single shoulder press, single arm shoulder press. Now if you can, and if you can't, don't worry, it's challenging in the balance, it's challenging in the coordination, so if you want to stick with this, that's fine, that's okay. But if you can, we're going to add in an alternate knee lift, because that's working the lower abdominals. Nice and slow, don't rush through it, because if you're rushing through it, you're going to lose form, you're going to tip over. Good, don't forget to breathe the whole time. Just pushing up, lifting the knee from the side, that's going to look something like this. Nice straight back, spine's in line the whole time. Now if you can't lift your knee quite as high as that, just do what you can. Just slightly lift your foot. Oh, it's starting to get challenging. Now with the resistance band, that's going to be a bit more challenging. You maybe are going to really need weights for that one, but you can do it without. You know, you're still getting the activation, you're still getting the blood flowing through the body, up to the arms, into the legs. So you can absolutely do that one. And if you're doing it without weights, now you can add a wee bit of speed in, and you can get the heart rate up and turn it into a more cardio movement. Right, so that's that one. Next one we're going to do is a Plankton leg lift into a squat. Right. I hope you can see me on this. I've got quite a small space to work with because of the angle of the camera, so I'll do my best to sort of stay the shot. So we're coming into the plank. Now I'm going to try and get you to do a full plank. If you can't do the full plank, then by all means come to your knees, but just remember, even on your knees, you don't want the bum up, you don't want the hips dipping. You want to have a nice straight line from your knees to your shoulders to your hips, and you want those hands under the shoulders and just about shoulder width apart. But if you can, come up into the full plank, not too high, not too low, somewhere in the middle. Feel your core engage, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to lift one leg and then the other. If you can't lift the legs from the plank because it is challenging, then all you're going to do is hold plank steady and then come up to standing. So you can, this is your modification, this is your first modification, lift, lift, then come up to plank, come into a squat position, slowly stand and squeeze the glutes, much like you did in standing at the top of the deadlift. Coming back down, you're trying to find your squat position, hands are on the floor, step back. Now from the full plank, it's going to be lift, lift, step in, squat, squeezing the glutes, up to standing. If you want to add in a slight bit of impact there, you can. We're going to come down, we're going to jump back into it, lift, lift, jump back into the squat and stand. So you've got options to make it harder, you've got options to make it harder cardio or more effective cardio. Yeah, so that's giving you modification, it's giving you a slight progression, so do what you can with that. And the last one we're going to do is a reverse fly to a side kick. Now I don't think people generally work on the back of the body enough, you know, I talk about it all the time, you know, we do a whole lot of shoulder exercises. Now a nice one that I like to do with weights or with a band is a reverse fly. So you're going to, I'll show you from the front, then I'll show you from the side. Shoulders, feet hip width apart. You're going to drop over into that deadlift position, just like you did at the beginning. You're going to be in the position as though you were going to do a row, so palms facing each other, and what you're going to do from here is you're just going to open up your arms and your chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Here we're working on the back of the shoulder, doesn't get anywhere near enough attention, and we're going to drop back down. So that's what your fly looks like, or your reverse fly. So again, coming at it from here, nice straight spine. I'm just going to follow my deadlift position, nice and easy way to get into it. Palms face each other, neutral spine, and I'm just going to bring the arms up. What to make sure you're doing or not doing to protect your shoulders, when you're coming into that reverse fly position, don't let your thumbs tip forward, don't let your pinkies come up, because that just ends up trapping the nerves and the tendons and everything in between a wee sort of narrow channel in your shoulder, and it could just cause havoc on the tendons. So what you want to do is just try and keep the palm facing the floor, or even a very slight upward turn with your thumb, pinky facing down, but try to go for a neutral position and open up, don't turn, keep it open. And from there, we're going to add on. If you find it challenging to add on any of these, just pick one of the exercises and do one. You don't have to sort of combine it and make it sort of a double exercise. So from your fly, we're going to stand back up. I'm going to position my foot because I'm going to do a side kick. I don't want to side kick from here because all I'm going to do is aggravate the standing leg. So I'm going to pivot the foot. I'm going to bring the leg up. You don't have to be as high as this. You can be low, a knee kick, just as effective. But if you can, get that leg right up, working the glutes on the side of the hip, working the obliques on the side of the body, and we're going to kick out. Coming back down to standing, then we'll go into our fly, come back up, position the opposite foot. I'm even getting a wee bit of biceps in here because I'm holding my guard up. I'm going to take it nice and slow, I'm not firing through these, and I'm going to look in my direction that I'm kicking, and I'm going to kick out. You're kicking with the shoelaces part of your foot. So I'll go over the kick again a few times. Position the foot so that you don't twist the standing knee. Here it's nice and low. I've got my guard up so my biceps are active. I've got my shoulders down so my lats are active. Upper back, everything. My hips are working. I'm off balance so my core is working. My standing leg, this is a great exercise. We're going to come up here and we're just going to kick. Just a wee flick, kicking with the shoelaces. You want to take it higher if you can. Come back, you do your fly, position your other foot. You're going to lift nice and slow. Get your guard up. Don't have your arms down here. Why not work the biceps as well at the same time? Get that wee flick out. Doesn't have to be high. You can even just lift your foot slightly and a wee kick if that's enough for you. So let's put that all together. From the side, I'll do one kick that way, otherwise I'm going to kick my wall. So I'm going to drop over my deadlift position, palms face each other, shoulders are back the whole time as I reverse fly, squeezing the shoulder blades together. I'm going to stand up, I'm going to position my foot, guard is up, I'm going to look the direction that I'm kicking, which is over here on top of my foot, and I'm going to kick. From the front, I'll do one to either side. We're going to deadlift, spines in neutral, palms face each other. I'm going to fly, or reverse fly, standing up, position the foot, guard is up, I'm going to kick, come down, deadlift, down into that position, open up, back up, position the opposite foot, guard is up, get into position, ready for my kick, just a wee flick out, and then bring it back down. And that was your final exercise. So some of that can be done with bands, some of it can't. If you can't use the bands, just use your body weight. There's absolutely no harm in just going through the motions, making it an activation exercise. You're still getting all the good stuff going on in the core and the legs. So give it a go, and we'll see you on the circuit.